subscribers for, I don't know, about 5 years now. We used to add
528 bodies of COVID victims from April 20th till the afternoon of April 26th. The figures do not include those.
It was bad in China. So it seems to do just fine in warm places, I think.
Every day, and some lose their dear ones while waiting out on the roads. In New Delhi with camera person Pujaria, this is Supreet Trivedi for NDTV.
Through the night, the pyres burn, the flames piercing the dark sky. In this Kanpur crematorium, as COVID takes its deathly toll, a never-ending day and an endless nightmare for relatives. According to the records at Kanpur's Bhairav Ghat and Bhagwat Ghat electric crematoria, last rites were performed on 528 bodies of COVID victims from April 20th till the afternoon of April 26th. The figures do not include those who were cremated in the traditional manner on wooden pyres.
बॉडी है आपकी कल शाम की क्या वो नंबर नहीं दिया अभी नंबर नहीं दिया अब लेके गए हैं शमशान घाट को जब काइनेशन ने पे वहाँ 8 बजे बुलाया था तो 10 बजे बॉडी आई थी.
There are 35 Muslim graveyards in Kanpur. There are a dozen burial grounds in Chunniganj itself. Lavaris Mayat Intizamiya Society, an organization which deals with unclaimed bodies, says deaths have increased in the last few days.
10 निकल रही है 12 निकल रही जब इस रोड से 10-12 मिट्टियां निकल रही हैं तो और भी रोड है जैसे चमन नाला रोड है.
There are 4 cemeteries in Kanpur. Given that Christian
the Joe Rogan Experience.
You know, our show has been stuck on 863,000 subscribers for, I don't know, about 5 years now. We used to add 30,000 subscribers a month. And we just went through an election cycle, and that should have happened on steroids. It didn't. So they're suppressing us. So what that means is they unsubscribe people from your channel. It's because they don't want us to get to 1 million. And because there's a special thing about hitting 1 million. So they don't want... why would YouTube do that, Jimmy? Because they're afraid that advertisers will get upset. And so it's in their interest to suppress us. And so they are. Now, there's a couple of different YouTube algorithms. There's one for the corporate news. The corporate news being like MSNBC, Fox, Vox, or also The Rising on The Hill. The Hill, that's a big corporate place. The Young Turks, that's a big corporate place. So they're on the corporate algorithm. So they don't get people unsubscribed from their shows. They get their content boosted. Like right now, if you go to YouTube and you type in George Floyd, you will not get one independent news show's coverage of George Floyd comes up. It'll be MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, The Hill, The Young Turks. It'll be stuff like that.
All right, so I'm not the only one that complains about it.
No beds, no oxygen. People in Delhi have been left to battle for the survival of their loved ones, sparing no effort to give them a shot at life. India Today's Ankit Tyagi visited an oxygen refilling site, and here is what he found out.
62-year-old Ramesh Bhatia is waiting in an auto rickshaw outside an oxygen refilling plant in Narayana Vihar in the national capital. He is COVID positive and has difficulty in breathing. Since last night, he has been turned away by 6 hospitals.
That's pretty scary. Turn away from 10 hospitals. Yeah, nobody knows exactly. Places like Texas, it's not all the time, but most of the bigger liberal cities have worse outbreaks than the countryside and areas that are more spread out. But Florida is not that spread out. There's bigger cities there. There's some big cities in Texas too. I don't know. And Texas doesn't have a mask mandate anymore. Florida doesn't.
This lady, Neena Bhatia, has been told by hospitals after hospitals, try and search for bed at somewhere else. If you try and search, you'll even get God. Possibly getting God, searching for God in Delhi is easier right now than to get a hospital bed. The police here are guarding the most precious commodity in Delhi right now. Hundreds wait outside
Jeez,
to
police
refill
guarding
these
oxygen?
cylinders, risking contracting COVID themselves.
Dang, we're in a world where the police are guarding oxygen. Literally, a breathing costs you like $2,000 in oxygen. There's reports saying on the black market those things are costing almost $2,000. Those oxygen cylinders.
All
These ones right here.
so that their loved ones suffering and struggling from COVID can breathe a little longer.
Normally they cost like $50, $60 or something. That's pretty crazy though. The oxygen tanks cost that much money.
There's been an outcry at Agra's private hospital yesterday night due to lack of oxygen. On one side, there were people jamming roads as an outrage, while on the other side, there was hue and cry outside the hospital. According to the relatives, an allegation that they put out, a lot of people died due to lack of oxygen, and that there hasn't been any official investigation regarding this matter as well. Now, some stock of oxygen has reached Agra, and according to the administration, there should be a significant amount of such cylinders reaching, but the damage already done.
All right, we're gonna end this with some military and some UFO stuff.
Every country must make this difficult choice. Do they need weapons or do they need more food? The last year taught us that we need hospitals. The public health infrastructure was simply inadequate all over the world. In fact, it still is. The world needs to invest a lot more in the health sector, but its priorities appear to be elsewhere. The world's military spending is rising unchecked. Last year, it almost touched $2 trillion. Let me put that figure in context. The global military budget grew 2.26% in the year of the pandemic, 2.26%, while the global GDP shrank 4.4%. So even in the middle of a recession, defense budgets expanded. If we look closely at these numbers, there are some interesting trends. And these trends tell you why nations are arming in the middle of a pandemic. Trend number one, the big five spenders have marked out their territory: the US, Russia, China, UK, and India. They make up 62% of total spending. In many ways,
I think we got a war coming eventually.
Reality. These five countries are the five pillars of an emerging multipolar world. Trend number two, China is arming, and it's arming fast. Beijing spent $252 billion on defense last year, $252 billion. Their military budget has grown for the 26th consecutive year. You see, piracy on the high seas can be an expensive affair. Despite the spending spree, China is yet to catch up with the US, which brings us to trend number three. America spent $778 billion on defense. That's around 39% of global military spending. And most of this, and this is important, most of this went into research and development. You see, Chinese war machines are much newer than America's, so modernization was their focus in 2020. Trend number four, NATO is stepping up. NATO countries are required to spend at least 2% of their GDP on defense. This was Donald Trump's pet peeve.
Putin pulled most of the troops away from the border. It's unknown how many, though. And he probably left a lot of stuff in Ukraine. They also built up bases that will probably be permanent along the border and also expanded their presence in Crimea. So I don't think it's over there yet. Plus, the fighting is still continuing with the eastern Ukraine area between the Russian rebels and the Ukrainian government. Russia might attack in the future sometime, or the rebels might try to advance. Anything could still happen in that area.
Constantly complained about Europe not meeting this threshold. And it's finally happened. In 2019, only 9 NATO members hit their target. Last year, 12 of them did. That's an improvement. If you put these 4 trends together, it is clear what is happening. Conflicts have continued despite the pandemic. In fact, they have deepened. Just look at the South China Sea. Beijing used the pandemic to militarize this region. It launched a Cold War in the middle of a public health crisis. On Sunday, Chinese state media reported new additions to Beijing's fleet. 3 new warships have been commissioned. One of them is an amphibious assault ship that could be deployed near Taiwan. The other 2 are a destroyer and a nuclear submarine, and all 3 of them will be deployed in the South China Sea. And do not forget, hundreds of PLA vessels are already sailing in disputed water. So the message from China is clear. It wants an escalation. It wants to test the resolve of the Democratic Alliance. How have they responded? With deployments of their own. Britain's HMS Queen Elizabeth is all set to lead a strike group to the South China Sea. The voyage route is guaranteed to rile up the Chinese. The ship will visit India and Singapore. It will then sail through the South China Sea before visiting Japan and South Korea. And this voyage is all about messaging. It is being called the biggest fleet to leave Britain in a generation. Along the way, allies are also expected to join. There are joint drills scheduled with Japan, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, France, Italy, Turkey, and India. This is Britain's arrival in the Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister Boris Johnson talked about playing a greater role in East Asia. Well, this is his big-ticket mission. Britain's entry at this point is crucial. The Philippines and the US have just concluded a military drill. It is important to keep that momentum going. Plus, military presence in the South China Sea is an insurance for Taiwan. On Monday, Australia's defense minister sounded a warning. He said the world must not discount the threat of a conflict between Taiwan and China. The threat is real and imminent. So that's what the most volatile theater of world politics looks like right now. China spoiling for a war and a defined democratic alliance fighting for a rules-based order. In this context, the defense spending report makes complete sense. Countries spent more because they felt threatened. India faced Chinese aggression in eastern Ladakh. The US wants protection against Chinese cyber attacks. Japan and South Korea do not want the PLA patrols on their horizon.
Some big news I've been waiting to bring to all of you. I want to make sure I digested all of the information, and we'll be having Jeremy Corbell here on the show in the next week or two to explain further, but wanted to make sure that we brought it to you. So the Defense Department, let's put this up there on the screen, has confirmed a leak video of an unidentified aerial phenomena that they say is real. Now, this is a 2019 video. Let's put this up there on the screen. This video shows 3 triangle-shaped UFOs, which were filmed from the deck of a U.S. Navy craft, which was taken with cell phone video and was reported in 2019. And so what the Defense Department there has said in a statement to multiple news organizations said that these photos were real, that they were taken by Navy personnel. Quote, as we've said before, to maintain operation security and to avoid disclosing information that may be useful to potential adversaries, DoD does not discuss publicly the details of either the observations or the examinations of reported incursions into our training ranges or designated airspace, including those incursions initially designated as UAP being unidentified aerial phenomena. So, Ryan, just the latest things that we've seen in terms of the UFO.
All right, there's the latest UFO sighting, and regardless of what it is, if it's like drones or something from another country or ours,
pandemic.
I don't think it's ours because we videotaped them.
Oh man, hey, I don't know, man.
So it seems like it might be from another
there'd be a
country.
lot of
If they
people
have
that would like to
a
sort of,
high-tech
like,
drone, who knows what it
idiots.
is, what's going on. Could be anything. All right, thank you for watching. It's been another Shrimp Stew video. Go check out my other channels on YouTube. Go check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. All right, thanks for watching, Shrimp Gang. Oh, and I will do a quick stock update before I go. Things like Target, Walmart, Berkshire, those are all some stuff I got recently. And Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to start going towards 70 pretty soon. All right, thanks for watching, Shrimp Gang.
All right, that was cool. Oh my gosh. Fourth? How did I get fourth? Yes. Oh, that was so hard. Dumbbell.